Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation.
And today's podcast, we're doing another Things That Should Never Happen segment.
10 things.
Right, 10 things. And this time covering Disney XD's Star versus the Forces of Evil.
Yes, the series ended back in 2019, and while it was one of Disney's most popular series, a lot of people agree that there was so much left unanswered with 4 seasons. So we gotta cover what shouldn't have been done in this series, and these things could have made the series even better towards the finale. But
before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, notification for some future podcasts and other pause videos.
Thank you for joining us, subscribing to our channel, sharing our videos, commenting, and so much more. As always, we appreciate everything you do. So, hopefully you watched Star vs. the Forces of Evil, and hopefully you kept up with the lore, including Playmakers, Spider Marco.
Yeah, so she's added now to the show.
So let's see how many of these you agree with us with.
Yes.
Number 1.
Season 4 should have never happened. It was an entire miss.
Yeah. So many people in the fandom were so disappointed, and some even disgusted. The ending itself was kind of like they ran out of steam.
Yeah, but besides that, none of these episodes really connected with each other. They all seemed like they were filler and random. They didn't do anything for the story nor other seasons. Then when it gets to the last few episodes, suddenly they bring in Globgor. No, he's not a villain. Mina is now. Okay. Magic's the reason everything's evil. Okay. Destroy the magic. Okay. Muni Earth together. Okay. The end. Show's over.
Alright, anyone see anything yet? No, I don't, because this is a stupid waste of time. That's why, okay?
It's like, what was this whole season? All that build up for nothing.
Oh
yes,
my God.
the rumors
Number
are
2.
technically
Marco getting symbols, and it's never addressed again.
Nope.
They did it better in Voltron with Lancey Lance.
Yes, in one episode, Marco used Star's wand, and he had some crescent moons on his cheeks. And a lot of people end up going crazy with this theory that Marco is secretly immune and doesn't know it. And then nothing ever came out of this again towards the end of the series. He used the wand again. There's never any addressing how do you have these symbols. Can you use magic? Nothing really ever gets explained or brought up, and it's never questioned. Nothing ever builds up to anything after this happens.
And you don't understand why during this series so many things were left unanswered. So many theories weren't delved into.
Right.
And it just made it less memorable, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Never explaining how Jana knew all of Marco's information, why she was obsessed with them.
Including his social security number.
Yes, she just was. That's it.
My theory was that Jana was secretly his sister. That his parents had her, and she was adopted by someone else, and they were twins. That was my theory.
Up until Marco eventually got a little sister later in the series.
So
and
they
it's
heard
like,
my theory, and they took it and adjusted it.
right. It's like, I guess not then.
Tell us what you think in the comments.
Yes.
Number 4, totally writing off Jackie Lynn Thomas's mermaid theory. And this was like one of the biggest ones ever in the fandom.
Yes, because her attire always had these mermaid or sea aesthetic theme to it. Everything she wore, she'd be out at night skateboarding. She always liked to be by the beach. She sells by the seashore all the time.
And then in the Bon Bon episode, how she was able to take a skateboard from under her dress.
Yes.
And all these other things that were not humanly possible.
Right. It's like, how are you holding it there? And towards the end, people thought it was going to come up because Jackie was absent. And when he went back to Earth, no, they just revealed that she started to date a girl and got a girlfriend. They're like,
friends.
Yeah, like, that's not the theory and we all had. Okay.
So it's like they just,
threw it out the window. They said, nope.
They said, we're not doing it. Number 5.
Toffee not becoming the grand final antagonist. Another missed opportunity. They built him up so well in season 1 where he had so much mystery to him. People were obsessed with him. And when it got to season 2, we thought something more was coming up. They built up with him getting his finger back and taking over Muni. Then it gets to season 3 and he's beaten in the first episode.
Now, this is another example of Disney / Marvel not taking advantage of opportunities. You have the voice actor for Dexter the serial killer who kills serial killers, who's doing a play on the character from American Psycho.
Yes.
And you successfully turn him into an animated character that's not offensive in any way,
Right.
but captures both of those perfectly, and then you don't take advantage of it.
Nope,
We really thought he was going to be a threat,
Right.
after the sandwich episode.
Yes.
Oh my gosh! And
then showing that he killed Moon's mother.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, he is definitely a threat. And then it's just beaten in one go. And then
Not anymore.
That's it. That's it.
Number 6, Ludo redemption arc being ignored until the finale. What the heck?
Yes, because it was something people didn't expect to actually enjoy from the series, because it was a villain that was a joke and was thrown to the side, and he had this whole thing where he was becoming self-reliant and wanted to prove he could be something to not be messed with, up to the point where he got back to Muni and took over. And yes, it's with the help of Toffee and not knowing it, but he still got his way and took over. And when he lost it, he had to go through another self-realization process, reconnect with at least his brother.
His brother, which was a great addition.
Right. And by the end of it, he realized he doesn't need to do all of that. He just needed somebody to be there with him. And he finally got to a point where he wasn't obsessed with getting the wand and power and everything. He just had a happy life.
Yeah.
But they ignored that and didn't even come back with, oh, wait, Ludo's here. Like, oh, he's not a bad guy anymore. And they don't address any of this or have any interactions. All that missed opportunity as well.
So much content that could have been in a real season 4 instead of a fake season 4.
Right.
Number 7.
The Tapestry and St. Olga's foreshadowing an evil event that never came to pass.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have speculation over that too, because they put emphasis on it in the episode. The ceiling had looked like it was some winged demons or creatures coming from down the sky, and people thought this was foreshadowing the end of the series where a monster invasion was going to happen and it would divide the kingdom. It was
Which
going to
would
lead to
be
the
much
finale.
better than the season 4 we got.
Right. And we kept waiting. We kept waiting. It kept building up this thing where not every monster was evil, but some were still clinging on to these ways, on both sides. And then we got to the end, and it was Mina and her magicked up random peasant warriors, and they were the antagonists. Glogor was good, and they just threw that away too. It's like, where's this stuff throwing me away from?
I'll tell you what happened. It got Disney-fied.
Gosh, why?
They took away the power of the pen from the writers in Eden Shear and Disney-fied it.
Yeah, it had to be.
Number 8, the series ended badly.
I'm
We
sorry.
all know a better ending was
Yes,
possible. We just named 3.
Yes, and we're sorry if someone out there happens to actually like the end of the series.
Good for you.
Right, no offense, but it was just so much opportunity was wasted. Everything was rushed. The conflict and the resolution made no sense. Starco was just thrown together and it ruined it for a lot of people. We still shipped them, but that wholesomeness was kind of gone because they just threw them together at the end and had a mess. Nothing felt satisfying about the end of the series.
And again, there were so many unanswered questions that had happened within the series, and they weren't addressed, and we'll never know.
Nope.
And that's the end.
Yeah.
Number 9.
Glossaric was not useful by the end of the series.
Yeah.
Somehow the keeper of the magic spell book wasn't of use after 2 seasons.
He was going to be too overpowered.
I guess.
Disney-fied again.
I guess so. And they made this thing both in the books and the show that he had this infinite amount of power.
All right, looks like
But
this
he
is a
chose
dead
to
end.
be a goof about it because it's like, well, he has to worry about anything.
Right.
And they kept building up this thing where he acts like a fool, but he's powerful. He can do something. But it gets to the end of the series, and Magic's going to be eliminated. He accepts his fate that he's going to die and just lets it happen. There's no fight back.
Yeah.
There's no reveal. There's no hidden thing with Glossaric. Nothing was ever used for him again.
And we're sure someone's going to say, well, he probably was tired and he was old and he lived a long time. And yeah, so did Father Time. You don't see him trying to be taken out.
No.
He just wanted to get off the wheel for a while.
Right, just have some fun.
So, doesn't make sense. And again, another missed opportunity. And number 10, erasing magic. What in the heck?
Why was that the solution at the end? They kept doing this thing and building up where Monster was seen as the enemy. And it's like, well, maybe the history wasn't right about this because Star was one that loved to fight monsters.
Right.
And they had this good idea of having it where, okay, maybe it's not what we think is Buff Frog changed. Ludo ended up changing of all people.
Right.
We knew Toffee wasn't going to change, but something had to cause him to be evil. They were really hitting this thing and this really deep storyline. Like, maybe there's a way to fix this. And the conflicts of all these villains, because it's not Toffee anymore, what about the others? Well, half the villains are either non-existent, they're wasted, Globgor was good, and the solution to a problem that didn't even exist until the end, Mina having these warriors, the solution of being the warriors was to get rid of the magic altogether in the realm.
Someone pulled that crap out of their wormhole.
And then people were still dying.
Yeah.
People that were made of magic were dead, and they just glossed over like, oh, no big deal. They were jerks anyway. It's like, people died. You're just gonna, this is what genocide was in here, and we just skip over it.
And again, that was the end of the series.
That was the end. They just like wanted to end this thing.
That's what it seems like.
Oh, no, this is bad. This is really, really bad.
We have 2 bonuses for you.
Yes.
Bonus 1, writing a book that added nothing to the series. What is it called? Guide to Dimensions.
And you would think a title like that would be helpful and something useful for the rest of the series. We kept thinking it. And it was fun to read, but none of this stuff ever came up in the show.
Absolutely.
Nor was it important.
Nope.
Nor was it foreshadowed or
Nope.
a connection to where it would be worth your money.
Nope.
By the end, the book doesn't matter because these dimensions are sealed off.
It was a money grab. And yet again, Disney.
Disney.
And bonus number 2.
We all know the monster discrimination storyline being dropped. Once again, for the 8 millionth time, building up this idea where the history was wrong, not all the monsters were bad, and showing that there were some, not only humans that didn't hate monsters, also some monsters that didn't hate humans and were fans of Star. Showing the younger generation of both sides weren't having the hate-filled mindset of their parents or ancestors. And that could have been something really deep to have in the show.
Absolutely.
But they dropped it yet again after one episode where some kids got along. They didn't say, hey, look, it doesn't have to be like this anymore. We don't have to keep fighting with the monsters. They never bring this up again.
Nope.
It's Mina and the dang army. That's the conflict, and that's the real villain.
I don't know who decided Mina needed to be the
antagonist.
And end all in the series. It was just a dumb, vapid, stupid, let down, just we don't care anymore move.
Yeah, and we get that she was stuck in her ways of fighting monsters because she's crazy.
Right.
All she wanted was fight monsters. She didn't want to stop fighting monsters. Yes, they could have used that, but not her as the main antagonist.
Correct.
She could have just been used as to make a point to where this was somebody who refused to let go of the past, refused to move forward, and have someone be the monster that didn't want to go forward. Could have been brilliant, and yet, once again, all thrown away.
Yeah, much like we refuse to move forward. So, did we catch all the things you think should never happen in the Star versus the Force of Evil series? Let us know in the comments. If you got some major ones that we missed, be sure to let us know. And if you haven't seen this series, you're missing out. You can watch it on Disney Plus.
I
But
guess.
you also can find it on YouTube. I'm sure
I guess
there are
Hulu, I
episodes.
think.
Hulu. Give it a watch if you haven't seen it. And if you have seen it, tell us your favorite moments, your favorite episodes, and your favorite seasons down below.
Yes, and be able to subscribe for updates and movie reviews for your anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us today during this countdown. We got plenty more coming for you between now and June. And as always, you are special.
Thank you so much for watching. Rascal Entertainment.
And Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.